I, female, turn 18 in a few weeks. I'm counting the days to get out of my parents' house. They, however, have become so reliant on me that I know they dread the day and wish they could legally prevent me from moving out. I'm their oldest kid. They have 4 others, all under 10. My siblings have been put on me for a long time now. Even when I was their age, it was expected I would step up because I'm the oldest. So it was both parentification and the old school thing of the oldest is expected to help because they were born first. Not all of it was parentification, but some of it sure was. We're talking about helping with homework, making sure they didn't kill each other, walking them to friends' houses, and watching them while mom and dad ran errands. But you also had stuff like feeding them lunch and/or dinner when mom and dad weren't home, babysit overnight when they want to go to stuff, and walk them to school once they start going. I was told I needed to know how to change diapers and feed them as babies. That's the sort of stuff that happened a lot. I got some freedom. I could do whatever I needed every afternoon, at least with 3 weeks of work behind me. Over time, it became me being the one home more than them, and guilt trips laid at my feet if I wanted to do something, and my siblings wanted me to be home with them instead, and my parents saying I should treasure those moments while they want me like that. I'm pretty damn tired of it. I don't enjoy my siblings. Part of me wishes they had never been born, so at least I could have looked out for just myself and not had to sacrifice so much. I don't feel like the benefits are there for me, and it's sad because most of my friends adore having siblings. In contrast, I'm left feeling like it's a chore. I started saving some money when I was 14. My parents don't know, but it can help me move out right as I turn 18. The topic of my birthday came up recently, and my parents said, "You'll still come around, right? You'll still help take care of them, right? You still owe us, you know. We're still your family." With that kind of stuff. So I told them no, I wouldn't. They told me to think of the kids, if not them. So that's when I said I didn't choose to have their kids, and I wasn't going to help keep making their life easier and my life more difficult. That I'll be gone and they'll have to figure it out independently. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You were the parent during your teen years. It's time for them to become a parent now. They're not your kids and not your responsibility. Your parents sound terrible and have no boundaries. Your parents had kids, and expecting one of their own to raise them was not fair to you. If I were you, I wouldn't speak of this in front of your parents. I'd just sign the lease, pack up my stuff, and go. You don't owe your parents anything for raising you. That's their responsibility as parents, and putting it on you is pure manipulation. I know it's easy to resent your siblings right now. Just please remember it isn't their fault. Your parents saddled you with them. And please, please, make sure your money's safe when you're ready to move out. I hope your parents don't get their hands on any of it. You deserve your freedom. You deserve to live your best life. I agree. It's not OP's fault that her parents decided to have 5 kids and couldn't afford to care for them all. The only thing OP owes them is calling CPS. I feel bad for the second oldest, because I bet that when OP is gone, this kid will be the substitute, especially if it's a girl. I live in a country where it's very common for parents to do this. The oldest girl of the family frequently is parentified and becomes the second mom of the kids. I think it's better, though, to go the other way and pretend OP had a change of heart and will help them out. Then the parents may let their guard down a bit, and OP has a better chance of making it out with her money and valuables. OP has a lot of things they need to gather to move out. Her birth certificate, IDs, passport, bank records, treasured personal items, and regular personal items that she needs. If OP makes it clear that she's never coming back, her parents could quickly sabotage those. In fact, they probably are now. OP should definitely leave, but do it quickly and quietly, rather than telegraphing your moves. Good luck. For over a decade, my 4 best friends and I have had an annual fishing trip. There's always been a no wives, no girlfriends rule since the beginning, and no one has ever violated it. 2 years ago, my friend Tim told the group he wanted to bring his very young son to pass the tradition on to the next generation. Only Tim and I had kids at that point, but my daughter was 3 and too young for fishing. We all supported Tim's idea and made a big deal over the little guy. He had a great time and came last year as well. My other friend, Randy, has an infant son now. When the baby was born, Tim gave Randy a children's fishing pole to give to his son on his 5th birthday. So it seemed clear to me that the tradition had evolved to us plus our kids, which I'm cool with. The other day I mentioned to my friends that my daughter was excited about this year's fishing trip, and they looked at me like I was crazy. Tim said I shouldn't bring her, and I was baffled. I was super supportive of him bringing his son, and this is no different. My daughter's now Tim's son's age when he first came on the trip. Another friend brought up the no wives, no girlfriends rule, which made me angry. My daughter isn't anyone's wife or girlfriend. I said if they don't want my daughter there, I don't want Tim's son there. Tim was offended and stormed out. Randy said what I said was uncalled for. I said I'm bringing my daughter and that's that. I just want to make sure I'm not being an entitled idiot. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If I were you, I'd ditch their trip and take your daughter on a fishing trip, one-on-one. She'll probably enjoy that a lot more than being looked at by your friends like she's biologically lesser. Clearly, when they said no wives, no girlfriends, they meant no females. Lame that they, as fathers themselves, aren't more understanding and supportive of you wanting to bring your daughter. I used to fish with my pop, and it was a great bonding experience. Plus, lots of kids love trying and doing things the adults in their lives do. If he'd not been open to it because I'm female, we would have missed out on one of the major things that we bonded over. I definitely recommend doing it one-on-one too. It's great quality time, particularly if it avoids the misogynistic idiots too. Please consider whether you want to maintain these friendships at all. Now you know that they have problematic gender views. Update, we talked some more. They ended up apologizing. Daughter's definitely coming on the trip. I know many people assume that my friends are misogynistic and horrible, but they're not. They were just worried that with my daughter there, we'd have to stay in a hotel instead of the usual cabin and not be able to do as many activities. I assured them my daughter could sleep without air conditioning as easily as Tim's son, and they were going to be the ones having trouble keeping up with her energy. Everyone apologized for mentioning the no wives, no girlfriends rule and agreed that was a crappy thing. It's all good now. Thank you for your support. Just saw your update. It's sickening to me that you can't see your friend's misogyny. Because she's a girl, they assumed she had to stay in the hotel? What the heck? They made up the excuse of being worried that they'd have to stay at a hotel. If they didn't need to stay at a hotel for the other kids, why suddenly yours? Oh, that's right, she's a girl, which means she's somehow less than. Your friends are jerks. P.S. Wondering if your wives or girlfriends get to disappear with no responsibilities for a week every year. Oh, how could they? They have all the female children and boys under 5 to care for. Context. We've been married for 6 months and dated for 2.5 years. My husband, 31, hates when I'm talking to him while scrolling through my phone. I'm a multitask person, so I could focus on doing 2 things at once, like checking my Instagram while listening to him. He pitches a hissy fit whenever he sees me with the phone in hand. Recently, he has given me an ultimatum. He has nerve, LOL, saying next time he sees me using my phone while talking to him, the phone would have to go. I thought that was an overboard kind of ultimatum, because it's not like I'm ignoring him when he's talking about serious stuff, but he wants me to be 200% listening when he talks about a game or a past trip with his buddies. I was in the kitchen the other day, strolling through my phone, when he came and sat across from me. He told me to put the phone down. I asked why and whether he had something serious to talk about, but he said no, nothing serious, and reminded me of what he had told me about the phone while talking rule. So I was like, no. He got up, took it out of my hand, and rushed out while I yelled at him, asking where he was taking it. He got outside and threw it in the pool while I watched. I couldn't believe it. I started yelling, "What? What?" at him repeatedly. Finally, we got into a huge argument, and he decided to get in his car and leave for Starbucks. Later, I told him that what he did was out of line, and that I expected him to replace my phone ASAP. He responded, saying he had already set one reasonable rule, and I violated it and disrespected him and his presence and time. We had another argument, and I insisted he replaces my phone. Finally, he said that I made things get this far by refusing to listen and choosing to be disrespectful. Thankfully, I have an old phone I'm using for now, but my other phone was a tremendous loss because I paid for it and have to work on it. Everyone's the idiot here. Husbands don't make rules for their wives. Wives don't make rules either. He is not your boss or your dad, so claiming he gets to create rules that you have to obey is not a good look. You aren't perfect either. It is rude to be looking at your phone when someone's talking to you. I'm not sure either of you is ready to be married. It's rude to interrupt someone who's occupied and demand their immediate, undivided attention for something of no importance. But I also wondered if he just never shuts up, and this was over just trivial crap. This relationship is a no-go either way, to be honest. Not the idiot. You're not a child. He's not your parent that gets to set rules and punish you for misbehavior. That behavior should never be accepted in a marriage. He owes you the money for a new phone, and he owes you a separate apology for treating you like some misbehaving child and teaching you a lesson. Girl, it is just starting. He is going to have a bunch of more rules for you. I think you should just take the loss and replace the husband altogether. I mean, even if done to a child, this behavior is toxic and abusive. Who the heck escalates straight to destroying property like this? My late wife, Kate, passed away about 12 years ago. They have a family heirloom that was passed down several generations, starting from her great-grandmother, from mothers to their first daughters, on their 18th or thereabouts birthdays. The heirloom itself is not highly valuable in a financial sense, but the history makes it very valuable to the people in the family. I currently possess it after Kate passed away, and I always intended to give it to my daughter, Claire, on her 18th birthday. She is presently a mid-teen. I married my current wife about 8 years ago. My stepdaughter, Sarah, whom I have adopted and consider my own daughter, is nearly an adult. Her 18th birthday is in a month. My wife has also adopted Claire, and we all consider each other as just one family. My wife asked me to give the heirloom to Sarah on her birthday to continue this tradition. I was hesitant because I always intended to give it to Claire, who is Kate's only daughter, as this is what she would have wanted and is the continuation of the tradition. However, my wife counters that this belongs to our family now, and we should give it to our eldest daughter on her 18th birthday. Therefore, this should be Sarah. I told her that while I consider Sarah to be my daughter, she's not Kate's daughter. This belongs to Kate and should go to Kate's daughter. My wife said that Claire is her daughter, not anyone else's, and my wife accused me of playing favorites and told me that if I genuinely consider Sarah to be my daughter, then I'll do the right thing for her, or that I haven't accepted Sarah as a real daughter yet. I consulted my son, from Kate, 25 years old, and he told me that if I do this, he will walk out of the birthday party and that he bets he won't be the only one. He said if I do this, I should be ready for severe consequences. He left very frustratedly. His argument in the end was that this isn't yours to give away. It was Mom's and now belongs to Claire. My wife thinks my son is overreacting, and it's only because due to his age and moving out, he's never bonded with Sarah like Claire and I have, so he doesn't consider Sarah his real sister. Otherwise, he'd be happy for her. My wife thinks Claire will be happy about this, since she considers Sarah to be her big sister, and it'll bring the girls even closer together because Sarah will happily share it with Claire, and they'll both have it. So, will I be the idiot if I did what my wife wants me to do and give the heirloom to Sarah? You are the idiot if you give away the heirloom intended for Kate's daughter. Your wife may have adopted Claire, but Kate will always be her mom. That is such a cruel thing to say, and shame on you for not correcting her. Ultimately, because this came from her mom, it will mean a lot more to Claire than to Sarah. Sarah's your daughter too, but I'm sorry. She will not understand or appreciate the significance of something belonging to a woman she never met. If you give it to Sarah, be prepared to lose Claire and your son. You raise a good point. Claire lost her biological mother, and she would truly treasure this heirloom as something of her mom's. To Sarah, it would have no sentimental value of that sort. It would just be another piece of jewelry. Your wife needs to understand that it's not yours to give. I'm sorry to say this, but all her arguments against this seem like an attempt to manipulate you into giving it to Sarah emotionally. And while it may make Sarah feel happy, you would be robbing Claire of something that was her mother's. Maybe give it to your son to hold on to until Claire is 18. It's such a ridiculous request. The new wife is still threatened by the fact that OP loved a different woman before her. By destroying this tradition, she's doing her best to destroy OP and Claire's happy memories of his late wife and her mom. It's also like she's trying to cement her place as the number one woman in OP's life, which is a ridiculous contest. And she's ironically pressuring him to favorite Sarah as proof that he's not favoring Claire. I have to wonder if this is the first time she's pulled antics like this. I'm male 28, am in a 2-year relationship with my girlfriend, 27, and we haven't had any big problems yet. We don't live together, but she spends much time at my place because she has roommates. I have a 1973's Dodge Dart Swinger. It's broken down, and I bought it cheap a few years ago. The car is not that good, but I honestly have a deep love for it, and I spend a lot of money on it whenever I have some money left to spend. Recently, my girlfriend bought a 2017's Renault Kwid. The car's nice, it's new too, so it doesn't even have a scratch. The thing is, my girlfriend demanded that I leave my car outside when she sleeps over so she could leave her car in my garage. She said that since her car is new, it's more important to keep it safe. I disagreed. My car might be cheaper, but it's still my car, and I think I deserve to keep it safe because it's my only vehicle. She stated that I was selfish because she had to work a lot to make enough to buy her car, so I tried to calm her down and told her that I could pick her up at her house when she wanted to stay over. She'll be able to leave the car in her home's garage, to which she said no, that she had bought the car to be seen in a new car and not a broken down one. Then she called me stupid and told me I was ruining our relationship for a car, and I answered that she was doing the same. She left and hasn't been answering my calls. Was I really wrong about this? Or should I stand my ground? Not the idiot. She's the one ruining your relationship over a car. OP, her car costs more and is newer, but your car has a lot of emotional value and love from you. So in a way, they're both expensive. And since it is your garage, you get to decide which car you want. Simple as that. She needs to learn to accept a no, be more understanding, less self-centered, and grow up. For starters, you two don't even live together. Her entitlement, expecting you to let her have your garage because she has a nicer, newer car, is baffling. Secondly, when you offer a solution to her ridiculous request, she responds by calling you selfish and insulting your compromise. Again, she's exhibiting her entitled behavior because she can't be seen in a broken down car now that she has her new car. If you look very closely, you will see her true colors. So think long and hard about continuing this relationship. She had bought the car to be seen in a new car and not a broken down one. Sir, here's the red flag you ordered. You offered her an excellent solution, but she's more interested in impressing people. Gross. Your girlfriend sounds materialistic and not like someone who knows how hard it is to make money to buy stuff. Update. My girlfriend and I spoke. She's furious. She told me that she thought I'd be more understanding with this and asked me how I expect to move forward if I can't even do something so small for her. I told her I wasn't ready for the next step, and she got angrier and kicked me out of her house. I don't know if we can solve this for now. I'm really doubtful about what to do, but still, thank you all.